Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Quinn Buckland, author of such books as The Engine What Runs the World, Fallen Gods, and my latest, Dead Man Walking. And today, I'm going to go through Wheel of Time characters, books 6 to 10, and just kind of my thoughts on them and where I place them in terms of how I enjoy them. I've already done this for books 1 to 5, and as you can see, I've got some opinions, and we're going to go from there. Alright. So, favorite characters, this hasn't changed. Perrin is still fantastic. I still really like Fael. And yes, I do still like her even after the whole captured by the Shido thing. Like, honestly, I don't get the hate. I still just really do not get why people hate Fael so much. Moridin hasn't been around since book 5, so she stays where she is. Lan has been in there briefly, but Lan has played some really major parts, so he stays. Loyal is just Loyal. I can't hate Loyal. I can't even not like Loyal. He's just such a great character. Rand is a tough one for me because on one hand, he's becoming just this kind of a really big asshole, but he's also still kind of the sweet guy that he's always been. He's just kind of slowly going crazy. So, I do think Rand stays where he is for right now. Well, at least I would, except Matt has really started to grow on me as a character. And I just really like... Matt is one of those characters that, when the story first started, I really just didn't care for him because he was really immature. He was just really whatever about a lot of stuff. And as it's continuing on, I'm really enjoying his character more and more and more. And we're just going from there. And now that we've gone through all the main characters, I'm not going to go through everybody. Because I'll be here all day. If anybody's changed places, then I will just say something. For example, Min. Min has straight up become one of my favorite characters. Min is fantastic, and she is the person who needs Rand, or who Rand needs right now. She is that person who is keeping him on the straight and narrow and actually just kind of keeping him sane. I love her character. I love everything that's going on with her. She is just fantastic and everything that I want in a character. Eguin? I think Eguin... Since becoming the Amerlin, she's kind of lost a lot of favor with me, but at the same time, I like a lot of where she's going and where her story seems to be going. And I still really like Eguin, so she's going to stay right here. Well, no. I'm liking her more than Brigitta. Brigitta is one that I'm really starting to lose interest in. I really liked her when she was like in the dream world, and even that short period in the 5th book when she was Elaine's, when she just became Elaine's warder. But she's becoming this kind of just a big jerk to pretty much everybody, and I don't really care for that. I don't know. I think I really hope she gets better, but I'm just losing interest in the character. The only real scene that I really enjoyed her was after she'd had a talk with Matt and came to see Matt's side of things and was like, no, Elaine and Nynaeve, you guys need to apologize because he did all that for you guys and you're treating him like garbage. No, you need to go apologize. But other than that, she just kind of become really mean-spirited and just really nasty, and I don't care for that. I don't think anybody else here changes. Galad, I don't remember seeing Galad from anywhere after, say, the 5th or 6th book. He's just kind of there. Talonvor. Yeah, Couladin. Alviarin. Talk about wasted freaking potential. She was such a really cool villain, but she got a little too cocky, and she's getting really bumped down. I don't not like her, but she's just lost a lot of favor with me. Logan. I really want to like Logan. But he made some decisions that I do not agree with. Especially when it came to and those decisions specifically are bonding the Aes Sedai without their consent. Because of how it's described when an Aes Sedai does that to a man, I'm equating it to being the same thing. So, as good, so unless he releases them, if that's even possible, Logan has to go down here as a sexual offender, where the sexual offenders belong. That's just kind of how I feel about that. Like, I can't abide by that. I can't allow that to... It doesn't matter how good of a character he is. Just no. Padan Fain, he was only really in the 7th book, and he wasn't in it that much to begin with. Leandrin, so just kind of losing interest. He's just not that interesting of a character. Alana, she did the thing to Rand. It's a big no-no, so that's where she goes. Everyone here, well, Eguin. Actually, Eguin, she has really started to grow on me. I'm liking her more and more. So that's where she goes. I love her relationship with Bail Doman. I think I'm gonna put those two side by side. Like, they just work really well together as characters, and the relationship is just adorable at the same time. I love it. And first of all, Berylling. I really like Berylling. I think she plays a really great role when it came to Rand and Kyrian. I don't like her as much when she's with Perrin, because she's got this huge thing with Fael, and that's just kind of a whole thing that almost seems needless. Maybe not entirely needless, but it just feels needless. And there's the whole rumor that Perrin slept with her and she's not doing anything against it, and I can't see a reason as to why she's not putting a halt to the rumors, except for maybe her own gratification. And I don't know, a part of that keeps her from me really liking her or even going up to being a favorite character. Maybe she has a reason for that'll show up in books 11 to 14. I don't know, but I'm hoping so, because there's a huge character improvement between her at the end of book 10 and her one small appearance in book 3. Sorelia is good. I don't know, she's fine. She's a wise one who has a lot of note. That's about as far as that goes. Gawain, yeah, just meh. I really don't care for him. He's not really doing anything egregious or terrible. He's just doing stuff that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. Like, you'd think that he would at the very least try and figure out where Eguin is or Elaine is, and try and put his backing behind them, and because everyone knows where, hell, at this point everyone knows where Elaine is. And I'm pretty sure by this point, most of the people in the general Tarvalin area know that Eguin is the Amerlin seat to the rebels. So Gawain not knowing is not really something that I agree with. And I'd like to see him kind of have this whole thing, but whatever. He's still meh. Samael as well, just meh. Aludra, Bashir's good. I like Bashir. He's not in it near as much as I would like for me to really get a... Actually, you know what? No. No. Bashir goes up here. I just remembered his whole thing with Perrin when he first met Perrin and found out that Perrin was Fael's husband and their whole thing, and just how cool he was with it, because it was really based on what Fael wanted and how his wife saw it. Other than, like, Perrin not being born a lord really didn't mean anything to him, because, you know, he has an actual view as to how that sort of thing goes. Love that. Really like that. I like how Bashir is keeping Rand on the straight and narrow military-wise. So that's all really great. I like all that. Savannah. I hate Savannah. She is honestly the worst of the worst. She is probably the worst character so far in Wheel of Time. I really don't like her, like, at all. She's not interesting. She's not particularly powerful. She's just greedy. I don't like Savannah. Okay, finally, we're getting into the characters that I had yet to see before book 6. Olivia, she hasn't been in it much, but I am definitely interested to see where her story goes. For right now, I'm going to put her just a little bit above Gaul, because I know she's super powerful. Oh, shit, no. Well, yes, I'm gonna put her here, but there is one more that I have to change up, and that is Nynaeve. Nynaeve is growing on me. She hasn't made it very far, but after book 7, when she finally learned to, you know, surrender herself to Saidar and got married to Lan, she became less of a bully and less mean-spirited with everything that she was doing. And she actually honestly became more of a likable character. She became a character that I could actually like and enjoy reading. And honestly, after how much I hated that character for the first 5 books, hell, first 6 books really, I hated Nynaeve. And she really wasn't doing a whole lot better for a good chunk of book 7 either. It wasn't until she almost died, spoiler warning, I guess. It wasn't until that point where her entire character personality just shifts. And that was great. I loved that. Yeah, she's still fairly abrasive as a character, but I mean, that's the same as most Wheel of Time characters. That's not even just women characters. That's just most Wheel of Time characters. They're just kind of abrasive in their own particular way. And Nynaeve is no different, and I'm not going to judge her differently just because I hated her for so long. No, she's just not a bully anymore. And I like that. Andorral. Apparently, he's been in the books. I don't remember him, like, at all. So, he is straight up at the bottom of meh, because I do not remember this character being anywhere in the books so far. Asengar. I am fascinated to see where this goes, but at the same time, she hasn't really made much of a presence for herself. So, at least not outside being the person who massages Eguin's head at night. Other than that, don't really care. Cadsuane. I was really on the fence about Cadsuane at first, but it wasn't until her meeting with Cerelia and them talking about how they need to teach Rand how to smile and laugh again, and that becoming her motivation as to what she's trying to do and just the way she's going about it. I like Cadsuane. I really like Cadsuane, and I really hope that she's successful sooner than later so I can start really liking Rand again. Not that I don't like Rand. I mean, clearly he's right up here, and not just because he's a main character. I like Rand for totally different reasons, but Cadsuane's what Cadsuane's trying to do with Rand is very important, and it's something that I genuinely like. Sindane. Sindane is meh. I don't think she's been on page enough to really cause much of a splash. Like, I know that she was Lan Fear. But that's as far as it goes. Damon Dread. Also, in meh. Put him just a little bit above Pedro Niall because they've caused about as much of a mental splash as one another. Flynn. Flynn's cool. I like Flynn. I would put Flynn, I'd say just under Liana. I think he's got a lot of promise as a character. I can't wait to see where his story goes more. And yeah, I'm genuinely interested. Hessalam. Still don't know who this is. She has not shown up at all. Ituralda. He as well is just kind of meh. So far, he's just been in the Crossroads of Twilight prologue. Going off to wage war against the Shan-Chan, and that's really about it. Other than that, Ger Grady, honestly, I know he's there. He's with Perrin as they were going south to get to Massima, and then he's helping Perrin get Fio back, but far from that, I don't really remember. I couldn't tell you anything about his character. I know Kareed is a part of the Shan-Chan. So I'm going to put him just under Grandal, just because, you know, at the very least I can tell you who he is, but that's about as far as it goes. Mazrim Taim. This guy's straight up villain. He hasn't come out as a villain kind of yet. Like, Logan has pretty much just stated, yeah, this guy's doing some dark shit. And he's being just a total dick. But it's not straight out in the open yet. But in terms, just in terms of villainy, I like Taim. As a character, as a person, he's awful. He's horrible. He's just a genuinely skeezy guy. But in terms of, but narratively, he's above Ishamael. Very much so. Moridin. I haven't seen much of Moridin to really have any sort of real opinion of him, but I know that he is the new version of Ishamael, but he just hasn't been around long enough for me to really have any sort of opinion of him, so I'm going to put him just bottom of good. Noel. I want to know more about Noel because every time he is on page, I am fascinated by what he has to say. And that is saying something. Noel, straight up right there. Oliver. He's a good kid. I got nothing against Oliver. I don't think he's a great character so far. He's just a kid. But I do like him. I do like the kid. So, I'm interested to see what role he plays later on. Asengar. This guy has definitely played more of a role than his female counterpart of Asengar, but not by much. Put him just above Varen. I know Varen's played a bit of a role, but I'm interested, but she hasn't really done enough to get herself past good, so that's just kind of where she's staying. Pavara. She's another one. I want to know more about her. I want to follow her more often. Because I think she's interesting. I think she's fascinating, and I really want to know where her story goes. Frankly, I want to know if she ever finds out who it was that killed her family. That would be really interesting. Shadar Haran. As far as villains go, this guy is intimidating AF. Like, oh my god. So scary. Just, and I love it every time he's on the page because he's just such a presence. He is there, and you cannot ignore Shadar Haran. Love it. Tuon. Tuon hasn't been in it much. I do love the back and forth between her and Matt. I kind of want to see more as to where it goes. The only thing really keeping her down is the sake that she's Shan-Chan and has a bit of a love for the whole Damani thing, which is slavery. Actually, it's not even with extra steps. It's just slavery. So she's gonna have to do a lot to really grow on me. But I am more than willing to give her that chance in these last 4 books. Tylan. Tylan goes just above Savannah. I loved her character. I loved how she took no shit from the Aes Sedai. I loved everything about that. And then she met Matt. And she became the most unbearable character. She was going to be in the just the worst category after that assault scene with Matt anyway. But she is right down here, underneath pretty much everybody, because I liked Tylan so much before then. It's so disappointing that such an interesting and strong-willed character can just fall, in my opinion, like that. Narishma. Narishma's cool. I don't think he's been in it near enough for me to really have any sort of opinion of him, but he's pretty cool. Oh shit, I forgot Swan. I do think Swan and Gareth Bryn actually go up here. Their characters have grown on me, and just their just how they are with Eguin and them teaching her and training her and stuff like that has really softened me to them. And finally, Semirog. Semirog has hardly been in it so far. So she goes above Slayer. I know who she is, but that's as far as it goes. So, yeah, the only character I haven't seen so far is Hassalam, and who knows when that will be. I have no idea who she is. I have no idea how she's important, but she got to be somewhere, I guess. So, this is how I am ranking everything, all these characters, for books 6 to 10. And honestly, there are some of them where I'm a little bit more surprised as to where I'm putting them. There's a few more where I'm not quite so surprised. There are some that I am very happy that I get to move up on and feel way better about them as a character. I'm a little upset that it took so long for me to like them as a character, or for them to give me any reason to like them as a character. And, you know, there's a bunch of them where I really want to know more about them as a character. I'd like these two to, you know, bring back my interest. Her not being quite so mean and him being a bit more of an intimidating presence. And yeah, just the ones that I enjoy, the ones that I liked seeing on the page. But anyway, that's all I got for you. So if you haven't read Wheel of Time, I highly recommend it. If you have, let me know what your thoughts are on where I'm placing these characters, because honestly, I might have some hot takes going on here. I might be just like everybody else. I don't actually know. So let me know in the comments. And until next time, see you later.